Hi, my name is Stuart O'Keeffe, as you just heard, and I've lived here in the States for probably, wow, I think like 13 years now. I just got my citizenship last year. Isn't that amazing? One little story about that, which is so funny, I want to share with you guys before we get started into this whole thing. Like food. You came here for food, right? But I went for my citizenship test, and I think it's a really, really funny, it's a funny story because I was so nervous, right? Because, you know, I had the green card for years, and, you know, you have to go for a final interview and just to make sure you're not a criminal or like whatever it is, right? Or you're like a crazy person. But first of all, like you have to do the interview, and then you get approved, and then you go to the big, the thing downtown. They swear you in, and in a courthouse, and you know you get your naturalization certificate, and then you go get your passport. It's amazing, and it's if you've never been to that ceremony for a friend or anything, go, because it's truly, you really appreciate living in this country even more. And like my friends that are American came with me, and they were like, oh my God, like I never knew. Like this is so, like I'm so thankful. You know, it's amazing. But anyway, I had to go into an interview. So I go in, and like I bring a cookbook like in my bag, like just in case, you know. And because I was like, I have to like butter this woman up. Like I need her to like approved or denied. You know, there's no reason why I should be denied anyway. But like you still think like, you know, they could find something, like whatever. So I go in, and there's this woman, and she's Hispanic, and I'm like, this is kind of, I thought that was kind of odd. I was like, not really, but like, I was like, okay, this is like fine. But I was like, I went in, and we just started talking about quesadillas and tacos and burritos. Like, she was like, what do you do for a living? And I was like, well, I do some TV, and I'm a chef, and I do like private dinners in Beverly Hills, and I'm on Food Network sometimes, and all this kind of stuff. She was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So we talked about food the whole 30 minutes of my interview. She asked me the 5 questions, you know, like, who's the president now? Who was the last president? Like, simple questions like that. I got 7 out of 7. So good. That's the only, like, A I ever got in my entire life. But it was amazing. And, like, we talked about food the whole time. And I thought that was just, it was so wild. And I was like, oh, well, like I said, I have a cookbook here. She's like, I can't take that. That's a bribe. And I was like, okay. I said, sorry about that. She's like, you can forget about it and just, like, throw it on the ground if you want, and I'll pick it up when you leave. And I was like, I may just do that. And that's what happened, and she approved me. It was kind of cool. Like, I thought that was a funny story. So anyway, I really quickly about the cookbook. 6 ingredients, 6 minutes prep, 6 minutes cleanup. I like simple, fast, easy recipes. I don't like the cleanup. That's why we added that concept into the book when I wrote it. And it's done well. You know, I've really enjoyed going around the country, going on different shows, cooking it. And it's been very good to me. People really like it. The recipes they can cook. You know, people buying cookbooks. There's a ton of ingredients in them. They lose interest. All right. So I'm going to get started. So what I'm making today is I'm going to make a 13 spice. I can barely say 13. 13. So, I'm Irish, right? We don't pronounce H's. So, these breasts are huge. No, I mean that. I don't mean it in a dirty way. And stop going there, because that's what you're doing. Look at these breasts now. So, we got 2 bone-in chicken breasts. They are huge. They're massive, right? So we may not get them cooked in this demo, and I have finished ones here so I can show you anyway, but they will have them finished back there. You will all get to taste it. It's a super delicious recipe. It's super easy. My friend Joe makes this once a week. He's obsessed with this recipe, but they're very big chicken breasts. I leave the bone in for this particular dish. The moisture stays in there. If you overcook them slightly, they're not going to dry out like a boneless chicken breast. Have the skin on there too. So the 13 spice, everybody's like, oh my God, Stuart, I thought you were about 6 ingredients. I'm like, I know. But Old Bay seasoning has 13 spices. That's the trick. Do I not get a round of applause for that? Like, I thought that was kind of genius. But so you have 13 spices in there, right? So what I do is just Old Bay seasoning, some salt and pepper, and this is going to help me create my sauce afterwards. All right. So we're just going to put that in a bag, mash it around. You can use your hands if you don't have Ziploc bags as well. You can do a regular chicken breast too. Some people don't like bones, and that's fine. Chicken thighs, it works beautifully with too, this recipe. I feel like it's like Star Trek, like the noise like that's coming from this, whatever it is. I was here earlier for Artie's demo, and she was like, is that a spaceship? And I was like, I know, it's like so loud. Okay, so I have my pan. I have a non-stick pan here. I'm going to turn it up high. Any questions, please ask me, whether about food, about being from Ireland, about if you're traveling to Ireland, where you should go, because that becomes a really popular question, and or about, about food, cooking dinner, and so forth. So I got some canola oil. Why do I use canola oil? Because high heat. There we go. Who said that? There we go. Someone's listening, or someone's read my cookbook, or someone just watches Food Network. So I'm going to add in some butter into that for some flavoring. And you know what? It's so funny. Growing up in Ireland, my mom would always add butter to the pan all the time. And I was like, you just added oil. Like, why are you adding butter? And she's like, well, everything tastes better with butter. And I'm like, no, it does. You're absolutely right. But the reason why we use the canola with the butter, because if you just do butter, it's going to brown. It's going to burn. And we need like a small saute here on the chicken breasts. So I'm just going to add. They're huge. Look at the size. This is the size of my head. All right. So like this demo is going to go for an hour and a half, okay? It's like just going to roast it in the oven like a turkey. So we're going to get a high sear on that, okay? Then somebody asked me a question earlier about the cookbook. They were like, how did you come up with like the 6 ingredients? Well, first of all, I always wanted to turn this concept into a TV show in Ireland. And I remember walking down the street in Dublin with my brother, and I was like, I feel like it's just like 6 ingredients, like the number 6. I don't know why. And he's like, what about the quick 6 fix? So my brother was like, he's just great with words and like coming up with ideas and so forth. And I was like, that's actually really good. So then we could never sell the show in Ireland. So 3-4 years later in America, I'm like, okay, I want to write the cookbook. I'm ready. I feel like I'm established enough. I've done enough TV and so forth that, we can sell it. So my agent was like, well, what's the book title? And I was like, I think the quick 6 fix. It still sticks with me. And she's like, okay, this is great, but like, it needs to be something else. There's so many books out there that, have minimal ingredients and like fast ingredients, like 5 and 5, or like, there's loads out there. You've all seen it. But she was like, what do you not like about cooking? And I was like, what kind of question is that? I said, I love everything about cooking. That's why I do what I do, And she's like, oh, wow. Just got some of those spices right up there. But I said, honestly, the prep and the cleanup. It drives me crazy. I'd love to just walk into my kitchen and just like the onions are chopped, the vegetables are chopped, and you just like, and you just go and you cook and you have everything done in 15 minutes, right? It'd be so nice. So I was like, that's what I don't like about cooking. Like, I wish I could have like a little sous chef beside me, like at home in my kitchen, like when I cook for myself. Obviously I don't. And that was the thing. And she's like, well, do you think that you could, do like 6 ingredients, because that's what you wanted to do, and like 6 minutes prep and 6 minutes cleanup. So everything is like minimal. And I was like, okay, give me 2 weeks. Let me go home. Let me like research it. Let me come up with a few recipes. Like, let me just come up with 10 recipes to see could I fit it into these parameters. And I was able to. So I came back with her. We wrote the proposal and we sold it to HarperCollins, and the book came out. And that's kind of how it happened. It's so funny. This idea had been living with me for the last 5-6 years, and it just finally comes to be. Smells good, right? It's like choking. But okay, so you see that nice color right there? That's beautiful. That's exactly what we want. So what I'm going to do now, it's just right up there. Okay. So I'm going to add, I have it up high right now. I'm going to add some chicken stock here. And what this is going to do is we're basically going to cook the center. We're going to cook the chicken breast all the way through by doing this, okay? So we're just going to simmer it in some nice chicken stock. You have the Old Bay seasoning in there. People are dropping left, right, and center. They're dying in front of me. And I'm going to pop a lid on. And we're just going to let it do its thing. And then we're going to go on to a salad over here. And then we're going to come back to the chicken. I'm going to finalize with the sauce, and it's all going to come together beautifully. So what I have here is butter lettuce. I'm going to show you how to make a simple French dressing. It's a butter lettuce salad with a French vinaigrette. It's really nice. You can make it any day of the week with a nice protein with a steak. And this is one of my favorite go-to salads. I love butter lettuce because it's super delicate. It looks beautiful on a plate when you dress it. And it just has a nice crunch to it. And the nice thing about it is when you buy it at the supermarket, it always has the soil underneath. You see it in the plastic boxes. I really like that because you can actually have it in your fridge for about a week. If you don't get to use it straight away, no big deal. Or you can just pull off a few leaves from it as you need it. And it stays longer in your fridge. It lasts longer. You're not throwing out lettuce like we all do. We buy it in plastic bags sometimes. We'll buy it loose. We'll buy it at the farmer's market and so forth. But this shut off. Hold on. Because, yeah, it's okay. We'll get it. I think some, here we go. We got it. I think I just need to wipe it because some liquid got on the. Induction's awesome. I do love cooking with it, though. But it can be sensitive with, liquid sometimes. Okay, now it's simmering. We got it. Okay, so, yeah, butter lettuce salad. I think it's super, it's just a really nice lettuce. And I like that idea that you can have it in your fridge because it's a living lettuce. They give it to you with the soil. You can buy it in bags, too. It usually looks like this. Nothing wrong with it. I think you get more bang for your buck when you buy it living. So I just like to pull off. What's so funny at the front? Do you remember when your teacher would call you out when you were younger? What do you find so funny? You're like, but it's not. No. Okay. How is the chicken for people that have it? Is it delicious? Okay, you can make this any night of the week. I don't want to hear any excuses. This is a really, really easy recipe to do. I'm just adding the salad to it. But you just tear off the lettuce leaves like this. You can get really aggressive and go in here and just and rip this out and then they just fall apart if you want to. Everyone's different. Maybe a Monday you would rip it out like that, and maybe a Friday you would delicately peel off the leaves. I mean, you're really putting me on the spot here, but not that I can think of. Maybe if you wanted just to cut it up, just to shred it in there, you could, and just leave the base. But so you get the leaves like this, right? And I'll show you what I mean. Why I like to peel them off like this when I'm never doing dinner parties for people. I'll actually use this bowl for the vinaigrette. Okay. So for the vinaigrette, so if you're making a vinaigrette, what's the rule? What's the ratio oil to vinegar? There you go. People do listen. They do learn time to time. So you can make a vinaigrette at home any day of the week knowing that. So I do it 1, 2, 3, right? 3-second rule. Then I'm just 1. There we go. So that's it. Some salt, some pepper. We got some mustard here. Do you want to know a secret? Do you ever wonder, like, what, like, you know, there's always ingredients that, like, you know, chefs are chefs. They're meant to like everything, right? They're meant to love every type of food. Nothing's meant to bother them. And mustard, I hate it. I can't eat it. I can't stand it. I know. I'm the worst. But it's just, it's the nasal heat I can't deal with. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's just a lot for me. And cilantro I love. I love cilantro. I love like sriracha. I love chili flakes. I love anything really spicy. Like I don't like wasabi. I don't like horseradish. So it's all in the same family when you think about it. It's just really, it's just very delicate for me. And I like pickles. Oh, like just can't. But I'll do like a sweet relish, like an In-N-Out burger, for example. You know when they put a bit of relish in there, but they put pickles on those burgers too. And it just, yeah, it's one of those things. But I always think that's a kind of a fun thing to kind of know. So that's the dressing. So what I did was 3-to-1. I'd probably add like a tiny bit more oil in there, just because I want to dress it up a bit more. And I have a full head of lettuce there too. Okay. So you see, so the mustard brings it all together. But in this dressing, here's the thing. In this dressing with the mustard, I can't handle this. Like, this is okay. Because the vinegar cuts through the mustard. I don't really taste it. It's in there, but, like, I can't really, like, know it's there. But, like, when it's, like, a mustard spread, like, on a hot dog or anything like that, can't do it. Just can't. We just check these. They're firming up. They need probably another 5 minutes, but they're doing well. So, for this, there's 2 ways you can do this salad. There's the way that you can do it if you have a bunch of people coming over and you just want to, like, get it on the table. Like, you just want to toss everything together and just, like, put it on the platter, just, like, serve yourself, like, get out of my face, you know? And or it's, like, there's another way if you want to do it, like, in a really, like a chicer way, or, like, if it's a dinner party and you want to just really, like, delicately, like, do it, like, this is how I'll do it. I'm doing a dinner party in Beverly Hills or something like that, or wherever. I'll get the leaves, and I'll just, like, place them on the plate. And this is why I like to just kind of break it apart. There now. Instead of chop it up. And they just did that for me in the back, just to kind of show it. So if you do like that, if you were, like, serving like a barbecue and you want it just on a platter, this is the way to go. Like, break it up. Do the same dressing, but you don't need to make it, like, super pretty. If you're doing a dinner party at home and everybody's getting, like, their own, like, I need a small piece now, okay. So you do the large lettuces out first. Then as you come up, they get a tiny bit smaller. I'm actually going to go to this bowl. But, because I think I want, like, a small piece. Okay, like, this is fine. You just want to build a kind of almost like a pyramid, you know? Does that look pretty, though? Okay. Thank God. Okay, so, like, right there, okay? Then we'll get our dressing. Do a little spoon. Do we have a little spoon? Oh, yeah, right here. I got one. So we'll get our dressing, right? And just you drizzle it over like that. That's it. Like, you're doing nice dinner parties at home, this is how you go. And then what we do is we top it with, I know what that is. No, I'm kidding. It's, we got some parsley, right? We got some chives. You could do a caper in there too. And then we got some tarragon. But look at that. It's not just so pretty, though, just on its own. It's like a super herbaceous salad, really easy to do, and it's light, you know, because I feel like, you know, with appetizers, sometimes we try and go, like, overboard, and, you know, you're almost full by the time you get to main course. You want the main course to be the star of the meal. So that's like, it almost looks like a little flower. I'm pretty impressed with myself right now, but Turned out pretty well. Okay, so that's the salad that will go with the chicken. Now over to the chicken. I'm ridiculous, I know. But, okay. Like, it needs another... Well, actually, I think it actually is done. Okay. It actually is done. Okay, so with the chicken breast, okay, here's my rule of thumb when it comes to cooking chicken breasts. No matter if it's bone in, bone out, thighs. I always find, like, if you do that with your finger, right, and you press here, you have a nice, like, firm bounce. And so when you do that to the chicken breast bounces right back up. If it leaves an indentation when you press your finger on it, it's not cooked. Keep it going. Keep it going for another minute. But look, this is bouncing up. Look. I mean, you can't really tell from that, but you know what I mean. So these are going to come out, right? I mean, this would feed like 9 people. Like, these breasts are so big. Then to this we add some lemon juice, right? I'm just going to scrape up the bottom of the pan. We're going to add some tarragon, right? So that the nice heat from the dish, from the pan, will open up the tarragon. Okay, I can smell it already. It's getting out there. Then we're going to finish it. I'm going to turn off the heat. And hope to God it doesn't crack. Okay, so I'm just going to put in some creme fraiche right here, okay? It's really, really cold. Okay, that's okay. We'll go fast. We'll get the whisk going. We'll be fine. Okay, so, and we're kind of making just like a beautiful cream sauce. And the creme fraiche is like, has like a lemony, like it's like kind of sour, but like, you see the way the sauce kind of comes together? Look how pretty this is, right? This is such a nice go-to sauce. You've all tasted it, right? You've tasted that sauce, and it's so like, it's so nice. And it doesn't feel too heavy. Like, I feel like with the creme fraiche, it just creates this nice deliciousness, like that, you know, you're not making that beurre blanc or like this like fatty like sauce with like knobs of butter in every time, which by the way does taste really good, but I'm not knocking a beurre blanc. I do love one. But it's just I think it's just like slightly more delicate than a really like fatty buttery sauce. You don't feel so bad either. So we'll get one of these chicken breasts, right? You let it sit. I mean, it's like I'm serving you a turkey. I mean, but it's fine. Just don't eat all day and then come home and enjoy this, right? That's all you do. And then we get our spoon again. I've used like 9 spoons already. Okay, let me get this. Okay. Good. Oh. Okay. So just like go over right there. Okay, like there. I'd hit it with some. If you had some fresh, let me see. We have a herb sponsor here this year at Palm Desert Food and Wine. Every herb that it's not here, but so I would just get some fresh tarragon, detach some leaves, and just sprinkle them on top. I have some chopped up here. This works just as well, right there. Maybe just hit it with a tiny bit of olive oil, like just like on around. And if you wanted a tiny bit more color, you could just like do a bit of a Old Bay on top. And there we have it. We got 13 spice chicken breast with your butter lettuce salad. Super nice, super easy. I think, you know, we're coming into spring. We're coming into warmer months right now. Even though like this could be a winter dish if you wanted it to be, and you could pair it with like heavier side dishes. But I think like with like a fresh butter lettuce salad, it just goes it goes hand in hand. It's nice. It's nicely balanced, and that's it. And thank you so much for coming today. And I'm going to be signing the Quick Six Fix book. If you want a copy of it, this recipe is in that book. And I'll be up there right now for probably the next 20, 25 minutes signing books. If anybody has any questions for me, please meet me up there. And again, I hope to see you all here back next year. I'm the last demo of the day. And it's been bigger. It's been better this year, I think. And thank you so much, Palm Desert. And thank you, guys.